Now, the most important thing to remember is that the UK government, or any other government for that matter, does not wake up thinking, today we're going to change visa rules to punish those immigrants. That's not why visa rules change. There are things that are taken into consideration, or there are specific reasons that drive those visa rule changes. And before I give you the new visa rule changes that have been proposed or that are going to take place in the next coming weeks, months, I want us to run through the reasons why visa rules change in the first place, so that we can have a clear understanding as to what may be going on. Now, before I get into it, I just want to encourage you to like this video. Now, the first reason why visa rules change is to do with national security. Sometimes the government or governments decide to tighten the visa rules or the immigration rules because they are trying to prevent certain individuals into the country, individuals who may pose a significant risk, security risk to that country. So this is why the visa rules may change. Another reason why visa rules may change is to do with economic reasons. Sometimes countries may decide to adjust their immigration policies or rules because of a need in that country. Maybe a country needs certain skills that are lacking in that country. And I'll give an example of the UK. At the moment, the UK is in need of certain skills. This is why we've got the skills occupation list. It's because the country is in need of certain workers into the country to enhance the economy. So for that reason, the UK government, or any other country for that matter, may decide to change its immigration rules to allow those skills to come into the country. So this is another reason. Another reason why visa rules change is to do with political reasons. Sometimes there's a political change or there's a political shift in a country that may cause the visa rules to change. Maybe there's a change in political ideologies, or maybe there's a shift or there's a change in public opinion. Another reason why visa rules change is for diplomatic reasons. Sometimes immigration rules change in response to international relations. Sometimes there's a need to honor certain agreements on an international level. So because of that, because of the need to honor those agreements, to foster those international relations, the country may decide to adjust its immigration rules or to address certain concerns regarding border security. So that's another reason why visa rules change in the first place. Another reason why visa rules change, or why immigration rules change, is for demographic reasons. There are times when there's a demographic shift in a country. Maybe there's an aging population, or maybe there's a population decline, and so forth. So for those reasons, a country may decide to adjust its immigration rules to encourage other people to come into the country to mitigate those circumstances. Or maybe a country just wants to encourage diversity, to bring in other cultures, other people, or other experiences into the country to foster diversity. So for that reason, a country may decide to adjust or to relax its immigration rules. So these are some of the reasons why immigration rules change in the first place. Now I'm going to give you the new visa rules changes that you need to be aware of. Some of these changes are being considered, but some of the changes will come into effect on certain days. So these are the 5 changes that have been proposed, and the UK government is calling it the 5-point plan, okay, according to this. So the first change is to do with social care workers. It says social care workers will no longer be allowed to bring dependents into the country, that is partners and children, on their visa. The second change is to do with the skilled worker visa. The minimum salary to be sponsored, if you want to come to the UK under sponsorship, the minimum salary you need to be earning has changed with the baseline minimum rising from, so it has risen from the previous 26,200 to 38,700. So you need to be earning, at least according to what it's saying here, the minimum, you need to be earning at least £38,700. So basically you need to be earning at least £38,700. But, and this is important, that stipulation or that change does not apply to health and care worker visas, including social care or for education workers on national pay scales. So this does not apply to these groups of people. If you're a health and care worker, this does not apply to you. The third change is to do with shortage occupation list. They want to reduce the number of jobs where it will be possible to sponsor someone for a skilled worker visa on less than the usual minimum salary, which is the main purpose of the list. I'll read that again. There are changes to the shortage occupation list to reduce the number of jobs that can be sponsored. They want to scale down on that. So they want to reduce the number of jobs where it will be possible to sponsor someone for a skilled worker visa on less than the minimum or the usual minimum salary. So basically, there has been a change to the shortage occupation list. I will put the link in the description so you can go through the shortage occupation list to see where they've scaled down. So that's the third change, is to do with the shortage occupation list. The fourth change is to do with the minimum income normally required to sponsor someone for a spouse or partner visa. Now that is going to rise in stages from 18,600 per year to 29,000 and ultimately around 38,700. So the minimum income normally required to sponsor someone for a spouse or partner visa is going to rise from 18,600 to 29,000, and ultimately it's going to rise or to reach that 38,000 threshold that I've talked about. So that's the fourth change. The last change is to do with the graduate visa. Now they are reviewing this graduate visa because at the moment a graduate visa gives you permission to stay in the UK for at least 2 years after successfully completing a course in the UK. So the change is that the UK government is currently reviewing that for overseas students or graduates. They are currently looking at that. So keep an eye on that. If you are affected, it's worth bearing in mind that at the moment, the UK government is currently looking to change that visa rule. So that is the 5-point plan. And the reason they are giving here is to reduce immigration. Remember, I gave you those reasons why the visa rules change in the first place. So the reason, as I said, is to reduce immigration. So basically the UK is trying to reduce the number of people coming into the country. That is their reason. As I say, there's always a reason behind immigration rule changes. It's not personal. Sometimes they look at things, they look at the situation, as I said, political, demographic, economic reasons, national security, and so forth. So there's always a rationale behind it. It's not personal. They're not trying to punish anyone specifically. They're just trying to do what is best for the country. So I think this is the most important take, that these rules or these changes have got nothing to do with you personally. So these are the changes. Now, when will the changes happen? Okay, we've been given when these changes will happen, and I'm going to go through that as well. So banning newly arriving care workers from bringing their immediate family, this will happen on 11th of March 2024. The skilled worker minimum salary increase will happen on the 4th of April 2024. Initial changes to the shortage occupation list will also happen in April, very likely the 4th of April as well. And the spouse partner visa minimum income will first increase to 29,000 on the 11th of April 2024 to around 34.5 at an unspecified time later in 2024. So these things will keep changing. The changes will keep coming according to here. And finally to around 38,700 by early 2025. So basically, these changes will come in stages. I'll read that again. The spouse partner visa minimum income will first increase to 29,000 on the 11th of April 2024 to around 34,500 at an unspecified time later in 2024. So they are gradually changing. And finally, to around 38,700 by early 2025. So the changes will come in stages regarding the salary increase. Now, the last change is to do with the graduate visa review. Now, there is a committee that started this work, or that started reviewing in January, although according to this publication, at the time of writing the report in January, that had not been done yet, but the committee is expected to report later on in the year. So this is pending, basically. I think that's the most important thing to say. At the time of this publication, they had not come up with a definite date yet. So it's worth just being on the lookout, because as I said, these rules change all the time. So if you're considering coming to the UK in the near future, it is worth you keeping an eye on these changes, because you don't want to make those preparations for nothing. You want to know exactly what you need to do, how you need to prepare for that visa application, and so forth. So basically, these are the changes and when that will happen. So yeah, this is what I had for you in this video. As always, I hope you found it useful. If you want more content like this and you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. Also, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, because it helps my channel grow. And as I always say, it keeps me motivated. Now, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.